Oh, hi, Angel. All right, we started a few minutes early, so we'll just in case we have some technical difficulties, but it seems to be working. Yeah, hi, Stephen. Yeah, so we'll wait a few minutes. I don't know how many will be joining, so we'll see. And if the group is small, then we could do a Zoom meeting, but in case the group is a little bit larger, I did set up Google Live, so we can try this and see how it works. Jeffrey, Kwok, how are you? Good to have you. All right, Christian, welcome. Can you guys hear me okay? And is the video quality okay? This is my first time doing Google the YouTube Live, so I'm curious if it works fine. Hi, Canon, Carito, Nicandro, Susan, Ari, hey, Ali. All right, it's nice to see people coming in. All right, so I'm assuming that the video quality is okay. You guys can hear me okay too? All right, 21 watching. How do I know how many people are watching? This is my first time. Okay, everything is great. Okay, that's good to know. Hi, Sylvester. Sound is good too? Good, good, good. All right, Mia, hello. Jocelyn. Yeah, you're welcome. Happy to do this. Yeah, Hadis, Mario. Yeah. Yeah, so Mario, the main engineering lead that's working on Hacker Hero, his name is also Mario. So I hope you will like the Hacker Hero site. We'll see how it goes. All right, Brian, Cannon. All right, Craig. Hello, Louis Keem. I awesome. When I created the group, um, yeah, I tried to see if I could recognize if some of you guys were students that I taught directly, because I've done teaching on and off, but I recognize some names, but I think majority of you weren't really taught directly by me, so I'm really excited to get to know you guys more too. So we got 30 watching already. Yeah, I wish YouTube kind of showed me a little bit more how many people were online. So, oh, Drew, you're currently TAing for Coding Dojo? Okay, awesome. That's great. Yeah, Stanley, good to have you here. Oh, Matthew Fong, you're one of my students. So back in the early days in Bellevue. So good to have you, man. It's been a while. Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Mario, about Hacker Hero. All right. You all knew me by my videos. Okay, yeah, I hope that's a good thing. Sometimes it's really funny when I walk inside the dojo and people don't recognize how I look because maybe my hairstyle changed or I have new pairs of glasses. But as soon as I speak, people then start turning around because they can recognize my voice. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Um, yeah, and sometimes you can tell how the class is going because if I go and if people smile at me, I know the dojo is going well. And if they look at me with angry eyes, then I know something is off. So, yeah. Oh, we play basketball game in Bellevue. Yeah, I remember back in Bellevue, I really believed very strongly in sports day, so I had everyone go. And some people told me that, Michael, I never exercised this much in my life until I came to Coding Dojo. So I thought that was a compliment. You could tell how athletic they were compared to the beginning of the boot camp and after. And those who came and played basketball with me, I made sure they got some extra help. So things worked out. All right, Samia, good to good to have you. All right, Greg. All right, Lena. All right. So we got people joining. It is time. So let's get started. I usually don't like to start late because then I think I'm penalizing people who showed up in time. So why don't we get started? I do like how you guys are posting comments. It's a way for me to interact. And again, as I mentioned, if you do have a small class, then we can just do Zoom and we can see each other's face and we can talk. But just in case a lot of people show up, I thought let's do YouTube Live and see how it works, and see how many people actually start attending the live class. And if you have less than 30 to 50, then we'll just switch over to Zoom so we can again see each other's face. You guys can ask me questions. We can just talk. It's more conversational, whereas this YouTube thing, it's not as conversational. But because we're trying this out, if you have any comments, just spit it out in the comment section. I'll pay attention to that. And that way I can see if what I'm talking about is resonating, if this is making sense, and you can ask me questions there. All right? Okay. Yeah, Nicandro, hello. Okay. So, yeah, David, we do have the Mountain View Dojo moved to San Jose. Yeah, so that's where we were back. Yeah, and we were, I think, in the Mountain View Dojo for about a year, maybe a year and a half. Yeah. Awesome. It's good to see. It's good to see a lot of the alumni. I miss teaching. I am not involved in the day-to-day running of the dojo. I left Coding Dojo when about a year ago, a little more than a year ago. I am still involved because I founded it and I'm the majority owner of the business of the school. But I left to start something else. So I'm doing this not as official staff member of Coding Dojo. I'm not. I don't get paid through Coding Dojo. But I've always wanted to do something like this for our graduates. So anyway, we'll go from there. So I have some list of things I want to cover. Again, this is the first class. I'm just going to assume that this is just like any other class where I want to set expectations. I want to give you some ideas on what to expect, what we're going to go over. So I have some lists. Let me cover that first. And after I cover that, we're going to jump right in, okay? It's kind of my style or the dojo style. Okay, so what we're going to do is, in terms of the live class, I will have a live class every day this week. Same time at 6 p.m. Pacific time. If you're on East Coast, 9 p.m. So it's gonna be done every day. And I do like these live class because we can talk, we can see how things are making sense, and you can ask me questions and so forth. Okay, so every day, please just block the time. It's only gonna be 5 sessions. So if you can just block away that time, let's get together, let's talk. If you have nothing to talk about algorithm, let's just talk about life and things in general, start getting to know each other and so forth. Okay, but what I do plan on covering, unless you guys finish all the algorithm and things that I have really quickly, the first 4 live class, I'm thinking, okay, I can either cover a bunch of algorithm, but you guys know my style. My style is I don't like to repeat myself, and things that sometimes I teach in 40 minutes in a live class, I can often always boil it down to 15 minutes or less by creating a video. So Hacker Hero is a site that I created. I've been working on this for about a year and a half. This is something that I've been wanting to have for Coding Dojo graduates. Because what I wanted to do was I wanted to mimic how people learn algorithms and data structures. Yeah, and it is being recorded, so this will be available through the YouTube too. So I always wanted to find a way where I can teach students some of the data structures as if I'm there directly one-on-one and helping them learn what a singly linked list is, what a binary search tree is, how I would actually go about and solve it. Because, in the morning algorithm sessions, we give you the flexibility to solve algorithms, but we try not to show you how to do it because you need to first solve it your own way before we can show you, right? So that's why in the morning algorithms, we didn't actually show you the answer, but I think sometimes you do want to see that. You want to see how someone like me or someone who's been experienced, how they would go about solving a problem from scratch. And one of the myths that I wanted to break was, I think a lot of times you may think someone who has done algorithm and data structures for years will just go and write from top to bottom the full answer. But I don't think that's how it works, right? It's really like an art. It's an iterative process. So I wanted to create a platform where you can solve it your own way and then kind of see how I solved it. And then also a way where when you're learning data structures, the sequence of what data structure you cover is important. So anyway, at Hacker Hero, I created a series of challenges. I think there are about 40 of them, and I'm still adding things where I start with something pretty basic, some recursion that's pretty basic, gets a little bit harder. You guys know I like analogy. I created an analogy that I think is helpful, and then we cover some of the sorting algorithms, some of the easy one, bubble sort, selection sort, insertion sort, which is order of n square. And then, there's a quick sort. Let's do something a little bit more efficient. And then we start preparing for data structures by just doing some simple node and manually connecting them. And then, singly linked list, queues and stacks, binary search array. All of these are just another data structure on top of nodes to organize nodes certain way for different purposes. So anyway, it starts out easy, and then each of these, whenever there's a new concept that I felt like you needed to learn, then you can just watch my video here where I introduce some of the concept, and then you can solve it, and then you can see my solution if you get stuck. Or you can also click on the community and see how other people in the community solved it. Now, Hacker Hero, this is still beta. It's still beta. I haven't sent people to the advanced algorithm and data structures. And one of the reasons that I thought it would be nice to have us get together and talk is because this is new. I wanted to get some feedback as you guys do it, so that if you guys find something that's not working, we can modify things and adapt quickly. You can come directly to me, ask questions, and we can sort that out instead of me just sending you or people to an untested platform. So that's kind of what I'm hoping. So it is a beta site, so be kind, don't be so mean. Our engineering lead Mario is working hard to do this, and they worked really hard over the weekend to get things ready. I wanted a new version of Hacker Hero ready for you guys, so they worked super hard. So be kind. If you see bugs, just it's beta. What can we do? It will get better. We're actually revamping the whole site over the next few weeks, but just be kind. I take negative criticism pretty harshly, so try to be kind. Okay, all right, because I'm volunteering my time too, and I know you guys are spending your valuable time too, so I'll try to be kind too. All right, so let's see. Do you guys if you have any questions, go ahead and post it on the comment section, and let me take a look, and let's see what other items I have. Okay, so we talked about how we'll have live class daily. The first 4 classes. So this is what I'm thinking. Okay, I lost my train of thought. Where am I going? I kind of go in all over. But the reason I wanted to share about Hacker Hero was, well, I think it helps to understand why I created it. It was to help people like you guys get brushed up on algorithms and data structures, as if you were sitting down one-on-one with me for 10 to 15 hours and learning how the data structures work. It was also to help create materials to help you understand how to do system design. So this is what I worked on last week tirelessly, and it is super beta. No one has gone through this. You guys will be the first one to go through this. But here on the system design, I created some text. I created some videos. Some of this you may have recognized. IKEA store analogy from the bootcamp, some of the other things. I created some other videos, and then the highlight of this is I created a PDF. And I explained in the video, but what I basically have done is, whenever people ask me, hey, how do I do a system design? I'm like, well, you gotta have years of experience. Well, that's not good enough, if you're going through an interview and you don't have years of experience. So then, last week was the first time that I'm like, okay, do you know what? Let me actually see if I can duplicate my brain. on what happens when people ask me, how would I design, this application? And I was surprised. I actually ended up creating this. So I know on the Facebook group, I posted draft, and then since then I added things. So, so we have this. So anyway, let me now look at the comments and see what questions you have. I think you guys have some questions. So this is being recorded, and I will have a section where we can capture feedback. Okay. We still have, I have about 35 people in Village 88, Nicandro. So they're part of the group, and they were the one who created this. So yeah, my Village 88 is my other company. That's the company that actually we founded Coding Dojo, and the same team is there. So yeah, the feedbacks we'll catch it somewhere. I think we'll utilize the Facebook group as a way to engage in dialogue. And also I'll have a place where I can list assignments that I want you to complete. And then once you complete them, I want you to submit a comment and a screenshot to prove to me and the class that you finished it. Okay, and you can also report bugs there too. All right. Okay, site looks cool. And then we used Angular, but we're actually removing Angular completely. And that's kind of another story. Yeah, so okay. I just took a Docker course. Yes, so some of this does talk about Docker as well. All right, so okay, let's go back a little bit. So we are going to be using Hacker Hero as the main platform for you to learn algorithms and data structures. Now, I think the videos that I made there are quite good. I spent a long time to create those videos. So I don't think it's going to add that much value for me to cover things that are already in the Hacker Hero platform when it comes to data structures. So what I'm thinking is we will have you finish the Advanced Algorithms and Data Structure module this week. Okay, this week or next week, right? You can spread it out over 2 weeks. So that's your homework. And if you have questions on some of the things and it didn't make sense, then you can post those questions, or we can use part of the live class to talk about some of the data structures that were not addressed or that were not really clear in the Hacker Hero module. Okay, so we'll do that. But the majority of the live class, I want it to be more interactive. I want you guys to walk out having learned something more in a more active setting. Because again, watching me talk is a passive mode of learning. You're not going to retain. And as soon as 20 minutes goes over and we're nearing that 20 minutes, you're going to lose information, right? Because you're not engaged. So in the live class, what I wanted to do is, okay, you can have this week and next week to do Hacker Hero module, but during the live class, I actually want to have you system design. And the materials are in the system design, but there are assignments. I want to have you guys build 4 applications and use the framework that I created, put that to work. And tell me how you would design an application that has XYZ, how you would design an application that's more complex, and more complex. So that way you not only learn about the frameworks that I created, the process, but you learn how to apply it. So if you're doing this for interview prep, I think doing the assignments, doing the challenges will be helpful. So that's where I'm hoping that we'll spend the live class, majority of live class, where I will present a problem, present an app that I want you to create, and then I'm going to give you guys 20-30 minutes to actually, maybe more in the first class, to look at the document I created and see if you can come up with recommended frameworks, recommended languages, where you're going to store the database, how many microservices you're going to have, and so forth. And we're gonna do that today. We're gonna do one tomorrow, which is harder. The day after, we're gonna do something that's harder, and then on Thursday, we're gonna do something that's pretty hard. But hopefully, again, when we do through this exercise, you will be more engaged. It's gonna be an active mode of learning, and I'm gonna have you submit some of your design to me over chat, and then we'll talk about it. I'll give you feedback. All right. So let me know if that makes sense. The fifth day is, I think, when we're going to talk about some of the object-oriented programming design patterns. So that one, I'm going to still create some materials, solid, some of the design patterns. I'll probably make that available, and we'll spend the last day of class to talk about OOP patterns. Okay, so Isaiah, that's kind of what we're thinking about doing. I don't know if you're gonna get a cool sticker. I'll maybe give you a digital image that you can print. So, okay, we'll kind of figure those things out. All right. Yeah, that's a good question, Jocelyn. The thing with the interview is, I mean, honestly, I think a lot of the interviews are quite messed up. The thing is, everyone's looking for different things, so they're gonna all ask, questions that they think are relevant. System design, did I think that was a good question to ask? I mean, I think it could be, but code review could certainly be good. OOP patterns could be okay. I don't think those are the best questions, but people ask that anyway. It doesn't hurt to be prepared. So the best thing I think you can do if you're looking for the next job is, this is interesting, but it is not to be overly stressed about all these topics, but when you show up for an interview, be enthusiastic, regardless of what questions they ask. I think enthusiasm plays a long way. If you appear when you're really, tight and you're not really, being pleasant to interact, I think that does more damage than not answering, certain interview question that well. So enthusiasm goes a really long way. Of course, you need to do some preparation, but after all the preparations that you could do, you just gotta chill, be enthusiastic about the opportunity to learn, interact with other engineers, including interviewers, and then just go. It's a numbers game. You just go through a lot. Okay, and so anyway, that's some of my philosophies. Okay, let me see. I heard that. Let's see. Any questions that you have? Go ahead and ask. Yeah, show how excited you are to learn. Right? That's a good point, Greg. Yeah. Yeah, there is a 10-second lag, I think, from the point that I speak and when you guys see me. And I think they, built that latency just so that they can fix some of the issues in between. So, yeah. And it is hard, I mean, when they're looking right at your code or having you go to the whiteboard and write stuff, it's very hard. But no one enjoys it, maybe other than the interviewer. But it's just how it is, right? And maybe later on I'll have a separate course with some of my opinions about how you can best prepare for the technical interviews. But I really think the number one factor is be enthusiastic, and that will go a long way. After all the preparations you've done, right? You can't just show up not prepared and then screw up the interview and be enthusiastic. They probably won't like that either, right? About schema design, database design, yeah, all of that is part of the system design course, and I do want you guys to have experience doing that so I can give you feedback. All right, so all right, let's go right to it then. I'm gonna assume that you're okay with us doing system design challenges through the live class. Okay, so let's go through that. Let me see if there's anything else I needed to cover. Okay, there's one more item, one or two more items. So 2 weeks ago, I did an experiment where, I mean, I haven't been teaching for a while, so I invited some of my friends or friends of my family friend, or some of my family members or friends of friends to join a coding class that I was going to teach, and we covered JavaScript. And it was fun. We had some great group of people come and learn. Some were my college buddies that I haven't seen for 20 years. They joined the class, and it was really fun. sister. I don't. Some of you may not have known, but she has a lot of followers, and like half of the class came from her followers. So they came and they learned JavaScript. You know, they did the algorithm map. I had them go through the Hacker Hero, and they enjoyed it. So I told them, hey, you know, I'm gonna have this class for the dojo graduates. If anyone wants to come, it's an advanced topic, but if you want to learn, you can. So we may have a small group of people from the previous group that I taught. So if you see them, you know, be kind. You guys are definitely higher level than, you know, my friends or families of friends that just took that course. But I think they will still get, you know, some valuable materials out of the live class. So anyway, just wanted to let you guys know. All right, so Hacker Hero, this is all free. You just go and create a free account. You get 35 credits to watch videos. And I'm working on the next release where when you help someone else, you get another credit. So you can basically learn for free everything. But yeah, so anyway, 35 credits should be way more than enough, because if you're doing the advanced algorithm, I mean, there are like 35 problems. So even if you watch every single video that I have, you should still have enough credit to, you know, to access this. All right, let's see if there's anything else. Yeah, that's right. You can register using Google or Facebook. All right, so now let's get right to work, right? The 20-minute rule, some of you may have heard this. There are a few different variations of the 20-minute rule, but one variation that I use for myself is 20 minutes of teaching followed by activities. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. You can go to System Design course at Hacker Hero. It's going to show up for you on the bottom right section. So everyone navigate through that. You may have to log in to see some of these. But and then some of these videos you can watch it later. Let's not watch it now. But there is this challenge 1, designing an image resize API. So I got some feedback from you guys, and that was great. This was one of the project that one of you guys have mentioned that have really helped. I thought, you know what, this is a cool project. Why don't we actually do this as an assignment for the live class? So let's talk about this really quick. Let's just read it through. Your challenge right now is to create this app, and you're going to tell me how you're going to design this. So this app, the way that it works is you create an API for other developers to use, where other developers tell you, okay, this is my image, this is where the URL is, and you're going to get that URL, you're going to resize the image based on some criteria, and you're going to send them, you're going to store it somewhere, and then you're going to tell them where the resized image is. Right? Pretty simple. You're basically you're creating your own API to do this. And then the question is, what language are you going to use? What framework are you going to use, and why? Okay. Second question would be, why did you pick that particular language? Okay. Number 3, is this going to be a single app? Or are you going to break this into multiple apps or multiple microservices? Okay. Now, some of you may be already familiar with the concept of containerization. You know, tools such as, you know, Docker, Amazon also have their own version. If not, don't worry about it. You can watch my previous videos where I give you this high-level overview of all these different technologies. But it's long. You don't need to watch it now. But, you know, that's the question. And the right answer almost always, guys, is you don't want to create a single giant app. Okay, you almost always want to modularize and break your app into multiple components, multiple microservices to have it work. Okay, in the other video, I'll explain why that's the case. Number 4, where would you store the data? Are you gonna store it as a relational database, non-relational, or something else? Are you gonna store it on a disk-based, or are you gonna store it in memory? Blah blah blah. How is the database schema going to look? Okay, and then number 5, would you use GitHub Flow or would you use Git Flow? Don't worry about this too much right now. If you don't know what that is, you can watch my other videos, and it will explain 2 different main methods of using Git for collaboration and which one you should use for what, because that ties in not only with how you work with the other developers, now with the whole movement of, managing these microservices through containers and the services that orchestrate these containers, Git becomes an integral part because you can set up Git so that when certain events happen, it automatically triggers some of these events to, for example, continuously integrate your features to staging. That's called continuous integration. Or you have so much test cases that if all of your test cases pass, you can set it up so that it automatically deploys to your production, called continuous. What is that? That's called continuous deployment. All these fancy words about cloud native technologies, continuous integration, continuous deployment, Jenkins and all these tools, Docker, it's all pretty simple if you look at the fundamentals behind it. I tried to explain it in the earlier video. So anyway, that's what we're going to do. So having said that, here is what I want you to do. Go ahead and design this. And maybe what we should do, let's do this actually. Let's do this because we don't have time. Just go and do the best that you can. So each of you pull out whatever editor you want, or Google Doc or text editor you want, answer these 6 questions without looking at my process. Okay, just answer it to the best that you can, and yeah, just do it in a Word doc. Okay, I'm gonna give you guys 20 minutes. 20 minutes. Answer these 6 questions. Because I think the first part of learning is realizing that maybe we don't know the answer to everything, right? That will kind of put us at a spot where our brain turns on that active learning and you will retain more information. So based on what you know, answer the 6 questions. Oh yeah, so when you guys start out, you will have 35 credits, and then we give you 5 video unlocks per month on top of that. Don't worry too much about the video unlocks, and just if you run out of credit, just email me, okay? And I'll give you more credit. So don't worry about that. I'm not doing this to make money off of you guys. Okay, so yeah, don't worry too much about the credit. I'm trying to come up with a clever way where people value the things that we are giving out, and they're not just using it. That also hurts their learning. So that's kind of the idea behind. But if you're like, Michael, I love learning this stuff, I ran out of credit, I don't have money, yeah, just email me. I'll take care of you. Don't worry about that. Okay. Yeah, so good questions. There are a lot of questions. So if you have questions, ask me and I'll answer. Okay. But maybe I'll actually answer it by text, so that you're not distracted by my voice. Okay. Again, you have 20 minutes to work on your answer, and I do expect you to copy and paste your answer to the live chat. And again, don't worry. If you weren't able to come up with something, it's okay. Just still submit to me by the chat what your final answer is going to be 20 minutes from now. Okay, just based on what you know. Kind of put you guys on the spot, right? Okay, but yeah, just trust me. Just let's do this. You're going to get a lot more if you're engaged like this than if I just showed you the answer. Yeah. So you can ask me questions. If you can also make assumptions, but if you're making assumptions, just kind of state what the assumptions are. All right. I'm going to stop you guys for a little bit. Okay. So pay attention to me. I like to kind of put people on the spot. I like to ask trick questions too. Um, let me share a story so you can pause your work and just kind of listen to me for a little bit. I remember when I was in San Jose, I went to this event, and it was an event hosted by PayPal. And a lot of our, well, a lot could be relative, but some of our graduates have worked at PayPal. And I remember talking to the hiring manager, and the hiring manager um, was really nice, and she mentioned how a lot of our graduates, as well as it's just not our graduates, but also bootcamp graduates in general, how when they do technical interviews and when they're asked tough questions, they kind of freeze and they don't ask questions. They just go to the whiteboard or they just start producing answers. And what happens a lot during these interviews is they want to see how you think. They want to make it conversational. In fact, a lot of them are given an answer sheet on what type of answer to provide if you ask certain questions, but they're not allowed to give you the answer to those unless you've asked them, right? So just imagine that you're the interviewer, and before you were asked to interview this new person, you're given this like 5-page paper and saying, hey, you can share this information if they ask, but do not disclose and share this information if they don't ask. Right? So imagine you walk in with all this and you're wanting them to ask questions because you want to talk more, but they said that a lot of the people who just started coding, maybe they're afraid and they just freeze and they don't ask questions. And they said that was one of the biggest challenge for them. How do we get them to talk and understand what's happening in their brain when they're not talking, when they're just spitting out answers, right? So anyway, so the reason I stopped you guys is, okay, lesson number 1, guys, ask a lot of questions. Ask a lot of questions. It's okay, right? I intentionally kind of put you on the spot and I made it seem like I want you to just give me the answer right away. I expected more questions. Okay, so let's do it again. Okay, some of you have asked me questions. So think about before you jump in, right? There's a lesson number 1, tip number 1, which is listen and ask questions. Okay, it's not go and design a solution. Okay, so let's do it again. Okay, look at the problem and just think. I mean, really, like what are some things that you can ask to understand the scope of the problem or what you need to design. And I give an analogy. Like imagine any type of project. If I say I want you to build something that does XYZ, again, thinking about real estate, I might be thinking of, oh, I want you to build something like a mansion. And you might be thinking, oh, Michael needs like a cabin. Well, no, by asking questions, find out, okay, what's the scope of this? And you can come up with some interesting questions. I post in that process overflow, what are some good questions you can ask? But let's do that again, okay? So step number 1 is not to answer right away, is to ask clarifying questions. Right? You can even, if you're in the interview, you can be like, okay, so the way that I understand it, you want to design an application that does XYZ, for these reasons. Is that correct? Right? Or what are, I mean, I won't give you the answers, but go ahead and ask some questions a little bit more and then, jump in. Okay? And I'll answer the questions here. Wow. Okay. So I like this. I like these flow of questions that are coming in. Okay. Keep them coming. Okay. But you know, to make this mimic a real interview, don't just watch what I'm typing in the live chat. Actually, mute out the live chat. Don't even look at it right now. You just ask me questions, and if it is something that's applicable for everyone, I'll speak. If not, I'm just gonna type the answer. Okay. Yeah, so it's important to get into a dialogue. Just understand, even if it is like a, what you, it's not a that good of a question, just ask with enthusiasm and, with real curiosity. Um, and it's better than just going to the whiteboard. It also buys you more time, right? It makes you look good because it's like, oh, you're a real human being who communicates well. And it's a good thing to do. You can shave off some of the nervousness too. So there are multiple right answers. So I'm just, if I gave you the answer, that's the one that you need to design. But to someone else, I might give a different criteria because there's not one right way to do it. So yeah, the comment that I give is specific to that person. Okay, not to the general audience. If it is general, then I'll let you guys know by voice. I love these questions that you guys are asking, right? By asking these questions, you're getting a little bit more understanding on the specs and the requirements. Because before I didn't give you any specs. Great question. Samia asks, are we storing these images long term, or can we expect to dispose the data once we have sent back the resized image? Great question. I actually didn't even think about that, but what a wonderful question that is, right? So even from the questions itself, you can see, right? Oh, they're thinking about this, they're thinking about that. Oh, that's a great question. And Sami already earned few extra points by asking such a neat question that I didn't think about, right? So again, these conversations really help you understand. Wow, okay, Greg asked a good question. All these questions are good, but I mean, Greg asked, should we make this a public API? Should we add some security authentication in order to use? So for Greg, you need to use authentication. For others, you guys don't have to use authentication. So yes, auth for you. Okay, we'll make it a little bit harder for Greg, right? But yeah. Okay. All right, I love this. This was way better, right? Than the first 2 minutes where there was only there was dead silence and I got like 3 questions asked. Okay, so see, okay, first lesson when you go through the interview or when you are talking to the client, listen, ask questions. You know, you guys are not stupid. You guys are smart. You guys are good, right? Everyone, you know, kind of tightens on the spot. It's very natural. It's not because you're new. It's not because, you know, there's anything wrong with you. It's just that's how it works, right? So take a deep breath, ask questions, you know, and you can, it's perfectly okay to say, do you know what? Can I take 3 minutes to think through? You know, I'm an introvert, so I don't do well on the spot. So I can say, you know, hey, can I take 3 minutes? I want to make sure I really deeply understand the problem before I go and spit out solutions. Let me sit down, think about some of the scenarios, and can I come back in 3 to 5 minutes, right? Then come up with a bunch of questions, right? That's totally okay. You know, silence is fine, right? Okay, so that will help, okay? All right, let's see. So keep coming and then keep asking questions and then come up with, I don't care if your answer is right or wrong on the 6 questions. I want you guys to answer anyway. Okay, just put something out. And if anything that you put something out later when you cover the materials, you will then know, oh, okay, I didn't think about X, Y, Z. Next time I can think about X, Y, Z when Michael asks a tough system design questions. Okay? All right, so let's see some other questions. Okay, I think I answered all of them. 3 minutes. Okay, so now it's time. Okay, I'm glad that you guys listened, asked questions, we talked. There were a lot of things that I didn't even think about that by listening to your question, I'm like, oh, that's a good question. And, my faith in you as a developer was increased by looking at the quality of questions that were asked. Because again, as developer, you need to be good with if and else statements, right? So the fact that you were asking things about the future, about the requirements, about the users. This was all amazing. Good job. I'm so proud of you guys for asking, good questions. Okay, any questions are good. The worst is not asking any questions, right? Okay, so I'm so proud of you. You got 3 minutes. So write up your answer and then submit it, okay? And we're gonna be kind to each other. We're not gonna laugh because, someone answered, something that, because I guarantee, by the end of the week, I think your answers will be a lot sharper than right now, but at least let's find out for ourselves where we are today, okay? Tomorrow, you will be more comfortable, and then day after day, you will get very comfortable. By day 4, I'm hoping you can think like me, because that process that I outlined is exactly what happens in my brain. I think. Maybe like up to 99%. I hope there's something more than what that 4-page, 5-page document outlined. Okay? All right, so submit your answer now in the next 3 minutes. Yeah, where do you submit the answer? Just submit it in the comments, guys. It's okay. Just, you did it, just copy and paste the answer. There's probably a better way to do it, but the reason I'm doing this is whenever you write down your thoughts and then you post it in, there is some form of accountability there, and your brain will just retain that knowledge better than you just listening on the video. Right? And you guys know I'm an educator by heart, so I want you guys to be engaged. I want you to really kind of feel more like at an emotional level how it's like to be asked these questions, and to have that experience over and over again over the next 5 days, so that if you were to do the interview, you're like, oh, this is just like class. Okay, listen first. Okay, let me listen and ask questions. Okay, second one is now I need to do this. Third one is do that, right? I'm trying to create that framework. So the answer, just copy and paste the answers. It's okay. I don't expect you guys to have a lengthy list. If anyone asked me this question in my first, 5 years as a developer, I would be like, you kidding me? I only know one language and one framework. I mean, what are you talking about? Right? So it would be kind of weird to answer this question, but you can't just say, oh, the only framework I know is this, so that's what I'm gonna use. Okay, well that's bad, right? That's not as good. Not as good as, well, I will go with this. I will go with that. And the reason being XYZ. Yeah, I'll put it here. Put it here. We'll just put it in the chat. And then, so put it in the chat for now. And then later, as a homework assignment, I want you to watch all my videos in the system design and then redo this one. And then when you redo the final answer, that one, I want you to put in a Hacker Hero, right? But right now, because you haven't had the advantage of reviewing the materials, I don't expect that your answers will be as deep as what it will be tomorrow, right? Okay, go ahead and spit it out. Let's see this. Wow, really interesting answers. Yeah, Mia, your answer is interesting. I'm curious to learn how your answers will change after you've reviewed my videos. I think it may change a little bit, um, not all of it. Okay, keep them coming. This is good. Yeah, everyone, I expect you guys to participate, please. Okay, keep them coming. This is good. Beautiful. Love this. All right, Thomas. Thanks for your answer. TJ, Condro, Susan, it's good. Okay, good job, Susan. I like this. Yeah, yeah. And I intentionally, I mean, there are a lot of questions that um, you probably need to ask to learn a little bit more. But for now, just make assumptions. It's okay. Yeah. Um, let's not, DeCondro. Not yet. Um, once you guys review my doc, you will kind of see what I would do. Because it's super, I'm pretty proud of that flow because you can really, I think, mimic how Michael Choi would answer any system design question. But you have to look at each of the flow one by one, and you will understand what framework I would use, what database I would use, and so forth. All right, keep them coming. So, this, give me some feedback now. How was this? You may have expected kind of a traditional where I do the talking and you're listening and I'm writing code. I hate it when I'm writing code and you guys are listening with very passive mode. I mean, what am I doing? I'm writing code to impress you guys? I mean, do you guys actually get a lot of learning? They say that, watching video, you only retain 10% of the knowledge. So that you can do at Hacker Hero, right? Solve the problem and then watch my video. That's more, I think more better way of learning. So, anyway, what did you guys think? Was this helpful? Did it kind of make you feel too uncomfortable? If it made you feel a little bit uncomfortable, I'm okay because that's how you're supposed to feel. And the best learning comes when you're kind of feeling pressured, right? But If you felt like, okay, Michael, this was too much, then let me know. I don't think it was. I really like how you guys participated, asked good questions, and I thought it went well. But let me know. Give me some feedback on how this session went. And tomorrow we're going to do something more complex. I will put in the Facebook group what I expect you to do before tomorrow lecture, so that later when you come in, you will be more prepared to answer these questions in a systematical way. Okay. So these are good questions that are coming in. I see that some people also answer the questions directly in Hacker Hero. That's fine. I love it. I like what we're seeing. This is great. This is really good. Yeah, moderately uncomfortable. Okay, that's good. Yeah, yeah, I think it is supposed to be like that. So, but again, we're among friends, right? No one's gonna judge you. We're all here to learn. And, quite frankly, some of these questions are really tough. It's really, really tough. Okay. Yeah. Now, I'll give you a kind of high level. This one, right? This one, I will probably not do multiple services. I'll probably just use a single app, a single microservice. Why? Well, look at my process overflow, and you will know exactly why I would just put this as a single microservice. Some of the other things that we'll do, this was out of all the different projects that I could think of to create, on a difficulty scale, this is probably 1 out of 10. But even a system that's 1 out of 10 requires a lot of questions and so forth. Later, I'm gonna be like, okay, how would you design a site like Hacker Hero? And in fact, that is one of the challenge. How would you replicate Hacker Hero? And these are the features. What microservices would you create? On that one, I expect multiple microservices. I will ask you, you guys spend a lot of time on the Learn platform. I'll ask you, how would you design the Learn platform, including the database schema? And we're going to go through, I'm going to review the database schema, and I'm going to say, no, I won't do it that way. No, that way won't scale for XYZ. I think, if we go through this, you will see a common thread, a common pattern. So bear with us. And if you attend every single lecture this week, I think, you will be 10 times more comfortable answering these type of questions than you were today. Okay. All right. So yeah, keep these answers coming. This is really good. Nikandra, sorry that I couldn't answer some of your questions. I know you have a lot, and it's good that you have a lot of questions, but for the time's sake, we'll just kind of move on. Okay. So that's the end. That's it for today. Right? I kind of put you guys on the spot. Hopefully I kind of turned on your brain and got you engaged to be more active. Okay, remember the rule number 1, ask questions. Ask questions. Slow down, ask questions, understand the problem before you go ahead and design the problem. Or design the solution. Okay? Yeah, so what I will do is on the system, on the Facebook group, I'm going to list what I exactly want you guys to do. So kind of at a high level, over the next 2 weeks, I want you guys to finish advanced algorithms and data structures. Okay, so finish this over, try to finish it this week, or if you don't have that much time, do it over the next 2 weeks. But in the morning, when we get together, we're not going to talk about the data structure because I already teach you that through Hacker Hero, and you're going to be fine. In the live class, we're going to talk about system design. And then the last day of the live class, we're going to talk about OOP design patterns, right? Because that one, I think it requires more, discussion. Data structure, if you go through these modules one by one, it is going to be as if you were taught by me on every single data structure presented here. And you can see how I solved every single problem. And I try to do it very slowly so you can hear my thought. All right, so I don't think through the live class I can teach better than what I already taught through Hacker Hero on the data structures. What I can do better in the live class is helping you understand system design and OOP patterns. So that's what we're going to do. So before tomorrow, I want you to review, right? Well, before... sometime today, start the advanced algorithm and data structure. Do it at your own pace. But before tomorrow morning, I want you to watch this video, HTTP request and response. If you already know this, you can skip it. Actually, watch it all. Just watch it all. Because I will explain about containers, what they are, some of the movement from the traditional, virtual machine to a containerization, what that means. It's not that hard. This one's interesting. This one is a new analogy that I created on why are there so many freaking technologies out there, right? And I came up with an analogy that I think is interesting, and it kind of puts into perspectives why there are so many. So I would love to get some feedback on this video. I created it on Saturday for you guys. And then scaling, this one is good. This one is really good. Again, talking about how you can scale a single microservice. It doesn't talk about how to orchestrate multiple microservices, but you first got to learn how to scale a single microservice. So that's what that is. And then this one is the highlight, system architecture. It's a little long, I'm sorry, it's 40 minutes. But there's a PDF handout that you can download, and I explain every single thought process that happens in my brain. Okay, so we'll do the live class tomorrow at 6. Then watching these videos will probably take, 2 hours or so? Sorry that they're long. But watch those 2 hours and then come to class tomorrow and you'll be prepared. Okay? All right. What is the expected class schedule? I did, this week, over the next 2 weeks, finish the advanced algorithm and data structure. We're just going to have live class this week. And, starting today to Friday. So Samya, trust your instinct. Well, and your instinct will get better too, right? Okay, and then after the 2 weeks, I'm thinking about giving a test. I like tests. I want to see how you guys have improved, right? I don't care that much about the scores of the test. I care that you took the test and you stayed active in the class. Okay. All right. That's okay. Let's see. Any question? Our class tomorrow at the same time. Yeah, same time. Pacific Daylight Time. Pacific Daylight Time. All right. So tomorrow, what I think I'm going to do is you need to watch it. If you haven't watched the videos, it's going to be confusing. We're going to do the exact same problem again. But this time, let's see how your answer changes. Okay? All right. So I think that's it. You guys can log off. This is great. The video is going to be recorded,